call the meeting to order at 1:05. And let's see.
Well, I have 2 minutes to one, but my watch.
Your watch is off.
Yeah,
It's off for this.
and this is, I think the first order of business, and you brought it up, is about the trucks.
Public comment first?
Oh, there is no one here though, so we,
Oh, I thought there was a man standing.
No, he got the camera all set up.
Oh, then yeah.
yeah, okay, so no petitions from the public. Yeah, we gotta remember to do that. 5 minutes each person at the beginning of any committee or council. Okay, the first order, you mentioned to me that the trucks that were purchased are still,
There's still 3 trucks over there. I didn't know what, because I'm understanding that Jim's been on vacation or out of town or whatever, so.
Sandy Johnson told me that, but I saw him a couple of days ago, so he is back. I saw him in his truck.
was he notified though?
Well, he had to have been notified, I would think. It's been
Well-
since the meeting. Well, he will be back at 1:15 according to what's on the door, so we'll ask him.
Ask him.
But see, we have a meeting scheduled for 1 o'clock. The office knew it, they posted it. We got here, if Art didn't let us in, the council was locked.
Seriously.
Seriously.
The outside, you mean this door is locked?
Yeah. So
We
we
didn't check,
couldn't
these are probably locked too.
Yeah,
We
why
couldn't
would
get
you-
in.
Yeah.
and that's a problem. But then
Wonder why
Kevin's
he's gone.
Art has a key and could let us
Well,
in.
we're gonna have to address that with him. Yeah, we need to know when he's gonna pick them up. Has he paid for them yet? Has he been notified? And then, I know the tires are gone over there, so what happened to those tires? Did somebody
I'm
steal
guessing,
them,
I'm
or-
guessing that,
Julio,
Julio, there was only 2 or 3 left, and I'm wondering.
he bought them and then we said he could take
He
them
could take the
all.
last couple, because
Well, that would be a good idea.
That's what I was saying.
hoping for. You should just give.
So I was hoping if we just threw the other couple, because the other two or three he didn't bid on really weren't that good, so.
No,
he's got
that's
enough
what I was
equipment.
wondering, is if he did a good deed for us to get just.
That's what I was
The
saying.
other truck I know can be scrapped. And do you know if they drove it from point A to point B over
I do
there?
not know how they got it from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he
Maybe
comes
I
back,
don't
we'll-
want to know how they got it from point A.
Well,
to point B.
however they got it from point A to point B, they need to do from point B to point C and have it scrapped. And someone needs to do that pretty quick.
Yep,
Because that's,
get it out of the parking lot.
just get out of the parking lot, exactly.
and the most important is because you had the other date on and that we want the committee to function well and everybody know exactly when the meetings are, so I
thought we
bear the
caught you
responsibility.
in the loop on the, because we talked about that.
See, I thought we always will meet exactly halfway between a council meeting, 2 weeks before, except like over, if it's a national holiday, then we move it to the following Tuesday.
Can we move it to the second Tuesday right after, because we have public safety at 10. So can we make it like 12 on Tuesday? Is that too?
That'd work fine.
Well, because I remember, because we talked about that.
If that'd be better for both of you.
That's what we talked about, but I was
Then-
not in
See,
the
I have
conversation when.
two meetings
when
back to
changed
back on Friday, and I really like it.
that. That would be a big help.
You know,
Yes, no, I had it on the 8th, and then Peggy said something about, well, it's on the 1st, and then I changed it. at the last
Okay, will
council
you
meeting,
take
so-
care, if we all agree
Okay.
on that Tuesday at 12
So-
o'clock, second Tuesday at 12 o'clock?
Second Tuesday. Well,
And you'll take care of the new piece of paper out there?
I'm gonna type it personally
And put it on the
and
board?
give you each a copy to stick inside your notebooks or your calendars, because
In the meantime, can you just open it up and scratch it off and put the dates in there and put your initials until you get it?
I'll do it today.
Yeah, you could do
So,
that
yeah.
before you get, okay,
Yeah.
so this will be way better to have 2 back to back because.
Second Tuesday at 12, well, since this is the first Tuesday, are we gonna meet next week? Do we want?
Negative.
Okay, this is the meeting for this month,
This
so
month, yeah.
starting in September. This
Yeah.
is our August
Yeah,
meeting.
starting in September, yeah. Unless there's some other issues that need to be addressed, we can,
Have an emergency
Yes, we
street
can
committee.
get together.
Okay,
Because
because
issue with Steve or he wants to talk about something,
some of the things we needed to talk about, like the sign that was gonna go on that kiosk, that's, where, I don't know where the sign is, Steve said he needed to change the time.
I have a suggestion. as soon as he gets back, I have Steve's cell phone number. We could actually call him on the phone and put it on the table and say, we just have a few questions during our meeting. We could do that.
Well, that'd be good.
But do you have his number? Because I don't have it here. I have it at home.
369
No, it's 281.
3367.
No, it's 28. It starts with 281 for sure.
No, it's his number.
Oh, yeah. I have my phone. We do have
Let's
his
see,
phone too.
281,
It's 281 something.
yeah.
Okay, so we're doing 1 o'clock on the second Tuesday?
No, it's 12.
12. Okay.
So that you get up, your meeting is an hour, maybe an hour and a half, or an
Yeah.
hour and 15 minutes.
And give us a little,
And then you'd have a few minutes to go in the office and
Right.
look up something if you needed to.
or you can go and have lunch, whatever you want to do. It's just that when you know, if you can have them back to back, it makes life so much easier. Because
Oh, yeah.
this is a big commitment a lot of times, so.
I know, I wanted all three on that day, and especially when you look at this month, all the committees and extra meetings.
So as soon as he gets back, we can figure out what the number is, and we'll call him and see if he's available to just answer some more questions.
Okay.
And so is there anything we can discuss before we get to that?
There were also the signs,
Okay, we're talking the bathroom.
the street
The
signs.
street signs.
Street sign.
Yeah, he was supposed to get,
Exact quote, because he needed to have the number, and he really didn't know how much it was gonna be with the hardware, but we authorized up to 2,500, so did he spend it, and are they ordered?
Yeah, as soon as we can get his number, we'll be good. I don't know why he's taking a lunch hour, because Corinne was here this morning. Did she work, like, what are her hours? Because I was at a DDA meeting, she was here. So, I don't know if she works half a
I was
day.
thinking she was here till 11 today, but don't hold me to that.
Well, that
But
could be-
if there's a committee that has a meeting, they could stagger their lunch hours so that they are
Who's that?
available.
Somebody around the fire department.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so second Tuesday, 12 o'clock, boom. You'll take care of the
And then
signage in the front.
we asked at our last meeting about Al Ayat receiving a stipend, and that was referred to the finance, but have they done anything?
I don't know if they've gelled it up. I know they've talked to he's got like a payee or something that is his sister, somebody that helps him out. And because he's 65, I didn't realize he was 65. It doesn't affect him at all just to do that. But we have to decide what is fair. Like if somebody's gonna go every single day, I mean, finances are the ones to do it, but we'll just throw our 2 cents in here. If he's gonna go every single day, 7 days a week for, let's say, 3 months, is it worth $10 a day? Times 30, which
Probably
would
takes
be
him- probably takes him-
$300.
Probably takes him 15, 20 minutes at night and then in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
is
that's
that fair?
an hour a day.
So
That seems a little high,
Well,
actually.
but you got time involved too, like getting there and stuff. So if you were to do it that way, we're talking about $900.
For the
that's-
full season,
For
you're
the
saying?
for the full season, like call it 90 days, whatever. Hi,
Hey, Julie.
Julie.
Hi.
Is Joel around?
Well, no, the thing on the door says 1:15, so.
Any
No,
minute.
it's any minute, hopefully, because we couldn't even get in here, we had the theater people open it. So if you want to wait, you know, have a seat, wait. It's up to you.
Okay, I know you said you still be out.
Oh, no. Well, that's okay.
We need him to come back to get another issue, so.
Okay, so,
So personnel, I don't know.
are we recommending a one-time
I think
payment
one
at
time-
the end of the
Right.
season? So they're not doing a lot of bookkeeping?
I don't know, I had heard, I don't know where I heard this, that he thinks he's gonna get a lot more than that, and I don't think he needs to be getting a lot more than that. I think it's just, you know, it's because it started off as a volunteer thing, and we're just, you know, trying to make it. Like if I was ruling the world for 3 months, I would say, one-time shot, give him $500. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because anything over 600, you have to do the over
No.
1099 and all the other stuff too, so.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then is he considered an employee if it's over 600?
It'd still be casual labor.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. So, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly what he does over there, but, you know,
He cleans,
he cleans, but he
he
did that.
painted picnic tables.
I know, but he did that on a volunteer basis, and what we're really doing is we're not giving him a salary, we're just giving him a,
Thank you.
A thank you, pretty much, that's the way I
You
feel
know.
about it. Because I don't think we should call him a salary person, or say you're getting X amount of dollars an hour, just one
Okay.
thing. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna recommend, but I would say like a $500 thank you would be good. And not call him an employee, if we can do that.
I
mean,
don't
can
know,
call-
I'll leave with, we can, how
Yeah.
we can work that out or what we can do, but
Yeah, I don't know either.
So what,
it'd still fall under casual labor instead of an employee.
But I know the $600 thing kicks in with the,
okay, so we're recommending a $500 casual labor.
I thank you for him volunteering over there. Because it is volunteer work, you know, he is not, we gotta be careful with this, because if we call it, he's a worker, then we're talking workers' comp, we're doing all these other things, so.
Unless it's casual labor and that falls under the,
Under the 600, so that's why we need to be careful on that.
Okay.
All right.
And then I thought we were gonna put like a basket of, you know, healthy bars or something, so we could have a treat when he finishes.
Go for it.
Get him, like a few bottles of water or something,
Does somebody have a little refrigerator they can donate and put over there?
but then the electricity.
I don't know, I think we gotta be careful on this one, because he likes to volunteer, he volunteers for everything.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do it more as a thank you for, you know, helping our village. That's the way I feel about it. I don't wanna call him an employee. But
Maybe helping our village, not even the term volunteering, because.
well, he was volunteering up till we started talking about this, and I don't even know how we started talking about this. Excuse me, I have to do something.
I may have brought it up because when everyone else is getting paid and somebody is committed to every day opening the building, keeping it clean. When I found him that one day, he was volunteering at St. Paul's Church, and he went straight from there to helping open that building and clean it up with Sandy and I, or Sandy and me. Be grammatically correct or you silently correct it.
I know it is because you gotta take out the other person and then you know if you're correct or not. So if I said, Peggy and me went to the store, right? And then
Oh,
you take out
yeah.
Peggy, you say me went to the store, no, I went to the store. So
Okay.
that's how you figure out if your grammar is correct. My second grade teacher taught me that.
Yes, exactly. But let's see.
I don't know what they figured out as personnel.
Okay, so is there a motion?
That's
to make a
our
report?
recommendation to these helpers.
We make a recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, is that what you feel like?
that would be,
Yeah. And we'll see what their recommendation will give Mars then.
Okay,
Because you gotta remember at the meeting, they're going to, there's 3 open slots. We got ordinance, we got finance, and personnel, I believe. And this is gonna take a lot more commitment on people's, you know.
what
So-
is it, ordinance, finance, and which is the third?
Ordinance, finance, personnel. Now, we might consider at the meeting, just to get the meeting down, would it be a good idea to combine, like,
I think
say,
you need to be on finance, you need to be on ordinance, and I'll put Sandy on.
no, you need to be on finance, okay? I'm just saying, okay? But could we combine one of the things, like the one I think that could be combined with something is public buildings. Could that be combined with streets? Could it be combined with something? Because the public building one,
Could probably combine
Yeah.
streets if we get there, but-
I mean,
We're talking-
what do you do on public, are you on public buildings?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do on public buildings? So we get a little
Well,
overview.
we've spent the last 3 meetings on the lease for the theater.
Then after that goes,
And well, then we're talking about the kiosk in the park, the pavilion, and then what other buildings do we own? The village
Well, that's
garage, and
another
then
business I read
the
about.
Italian Hall Park, and, you know,
but could it be combined? You know, could it be combined so, you know, we don't have to have so many meetings? Or do you think that's not a good idea?
I think it's 2 different things.
Well,
So we
we've
can,
spent the last 100 years having 7 separate standing committees. always
But some of these, once we get a few things addressed, some of these committees.
Don't have to meet every month.
Yeah.
you know,
Like, what committees don't have to meet every month? Like, if we could get ordinance jump started, boy, we wouldn't have to meet that often at all. We could just meet when necessary. But that thing needs some TLC right now.
That's gonna take a lot, yeah, that one's gonna be one's gonna start ramping up here real quick and get some stuff going.
Matter of fact, we have a meeting next Thursday on ordinances. I can't remember the time. I want to say 10 o'clock in the morning on ordinances. Well, it's almost 25
Okay.
after and he's not back yet. So,
well, let's see what else we have. The banking notes went out to Ed. To
Okay.
Monty.
he said that at the last meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a whole month late, which is kind of embarrassing that it was done at least.
Well, I personally sent him one.
They didn't do it in the office?
No, I sent
Oh, good for
him
you.
one saying that I served with his father on the
Right.
council.
Good for you.
And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, the spirit of volunteering and not for pay. And that his dad had been proud of him and
Pretty big, I mean, a nice gesture, because, you know, when people do nice things, they're not looking for a pat on the back, but it's always nice when you give them a little that way.
And then because we are not allowed to send get well gifts like to Steve, when Sandy brought up at our meeting that she got a certificate for Steve, should we each kick in $10 toward to bring the cost that she had a
I've already
outlay?
talked to her and she said, I've already done it, if you want to do your, she put the council names on it.
Yeah,
She said, I said, ask her, and she said, nope, next time, just do what you think you need to do. So when there's a next time on something, then somebody else needs to take it.
okay.
Because that's, she doesn't want it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I thought that was really nice of her to do that.
She's a very nice person.
Yeah, you all are. In fact, I am actually elated that these committees are meeting because the village was really falling apart and nobody knew what was going on and no one was really taking the helm. And now that each committee seems to be meeting regularly and everybody's committed to making the village better, I think we're improving,
I'm on it.
you know, a great deal. That's why I was like, oh no, did I screw up so that you didn't, couldn't attend today? And I thought maybe we just meet and discuss, meeting next week when you could be there and changing the time,
I don't
if
remember
that's the way it
discussing
was,
that,
but-
but it's not a big deal to me, it's just that I
Well,
don't
it is to
know.
me because I
Why
want
is that?
people to think that their opinions are really important in the committee as well as on the council.
Well,
So-
it's one of those things, there's no way that everybody can be at every meeting all the time.
Right.
We just have to schedule them and do them, and if somebody's not there, get the opinion before, after, talk about it. We just
Yeah,
gotta-
or if it's something really important, then, per our rules
No,
of
that-
procedure, then they have to reschedule.
Right.
Okay, so then, the wall between Bucko's and the village, we don't know the status of that.
Okay, here's what I know, and he brought up the last meeting. I know that we voted, not the last council meeting, but the council meeting before under Steve's recommendation to spend the 2,500 and fix the thing. And then he was supposed to talk to Bucko. At our last meeting, he didn't right away, and then he did talk to him. Bucko made according to him, a verbal, like, I'll just fix the wall and you sell me the land for $1. Well, I wasn't comfortable with that initially, but I did ask the village attorney, he said, because I don't think we should sell for $1, that's ridiculous. But if we do, we should talk to him about selling the land, because we don't even, if Tricia said if we sell the land to him, he owns the land and the building next door, and then we don't even have to care about it, that's just his thing. So we should maybe make a recommendation to say, look, you want this chunk of land, we're charging X amount of dollars, and
Well-
then it's his thing.
My question, I think this should be actually the buildings and not the street, but my question is, we're
Well,
talking-
it's
It's land.
it's land, but that would be Yeah, not the
So
street.
you want- but-
Anyway,
but
okay,
it's
wait a
not
second.
public buildings
Okay,
either.
my question is, and this was brought up here by
Yeah.
somebody else, is we're talking about the property that is technically a park now, right?
Yes, there's a
Well,
stone park.
No,
like-
technically
yeah.
it's not a park. Technically, a guy who Bucko doesn't even know, he's only seen a couple of times, has taken upon himself to do those things there.
Okay.
So it really,
Well, that was the question, is somebody brought to me that, isn't that a park? If we sell it, it's a park. Is he gonna maintain it as a park, or is he gonna put a building between the two buildings, or what's he gonna do? I said, I don't know.
See,
And they
that,
said something about all the money that's been spent on a park to make it
there's
nice and
there's
pretty.
no money as far as I know spent. This guy.
So somebody did it
On
free will on
time.
his own, okay.
And I think he had stone, like donated to him by like Jim Flood and stuff like that, so there's no village money.
but
involved.
we'd have to allow that person to move his,
Well, that's
materials
exactly.
elsewhere.
Or, you know, what I had heard from Bucko, and the reason he may want it is, he would like to put like an, ice cream place there, okay? And that's not, he's not gonna build a big building, we would probably just build something small, maybe set back, and you could still keep the park like whatever.
but I
Well,
think,
that was a big concern. Everybody's like, well, you guys spent all that money on
We
a
didn't
park.
spend any money.
And I'm like, I don't know, let's check into that. because that
but
was a-
see, as far as I'm concerned, as a licensed broker, you get the money, they get the deed,
And
and
then
And they
your
can do
job.
whatever they want to. You
I mean,
do
this
that.
is
It gets
America,
back
and,
on- Yep,
and
exactly.
we shouldn't be sticking our nose in that business. In fact, I just told that building that was Curto, somebody, they said he had to put whoever, he, she, a roof on within a certain time frame, and the sale fell apart. Well, they shouldn't have done anything, they should have sold it. And then whatever a person does is their
Well, there's
business.
another person put it in too, and they said that you have to put in, you have to do this, and this, and this, and this. They wanted them to see them put an elevator. Like you have to make it handicap somehow, put an elevator, so they're not doing that. So, you know, you gotta be careful on that. Do you want the town to come back to life and people that buy things to do something with it? Or do you want to just be so extreme about what they're going to do that in a year from now it's worse? Because, you know, I'll give you for instance, when I have my son comes home once a year, and every time he comes home, he makes a comment. We live here, so we don't see this. Every time he comes home, he said, Calumet looks worse. You know?
I can say the same thing.
He said, Mom, it's looking worse and worse. Now that Rosetta guy has got to get out of there, and he's got a few options. It's either going to be maybe Evergreen or move to Houghton. If he moves to Houghton, that is a big blow to this downtown community. Okay, so we got to be careful what we do and mandate.
Was
okay?
it meeting with him?
I don't know. I don't even think it's that far. It was discussed at the DDA this morning. You know, I don't know. It's just like very preliminary.
Well, we
But
want
I think we should
to keep
approach-
business here if we can, but if we're back to the recommendation about the wall,
Well, we don't have to talk about the law, according to Patricia. See ya. Is he back?
No.
Okay.
That's his school, so.
All right, see you, Julie. See, Jim says if you sell them the land, then we don't have to talk about the law anymore at all. And he said that would be your best course of action. And I didn't think about it that way. He said, yeah, now he owns the land and he owns everything in between. So we should really approach him and say, look, you know, we own this vacant land. We don't care what you're gonna do with the wall, you know, I mean, that's gonna be your baby, we'll sell it to you. Now, I think personally, it's only about 25 feet there.
no, that's, I think
What
that's
is
a
that?
50-foot lot.
Oh, I don't think it's a 50-foot lot. You have your little papers there?
But it,
See, I don't know,
I don't think it's
hold
that- I don't
on.
think
I
it's
can
that
tell you
big.
just a second, I don't know if I wrote down
in
I
my,
could be wrong.
I don't know if it's
It's
a
not
floor.
very big, it's not very big.
well, when the red garter was on it, it looked huge.
Well, I
No.
don't think it's much bigger than his storefront. His storefront isn't all that big.
That
So I don't know.
that might be another 50.
Okay, all those lots down through there are 58 feet wide, but I don't know, let's see.
I don't think that's a
Fifth,
full lot.
I don't know if it's, you know what the address is?
Well, we had a phone book, I could look up Buckles and.
Block 6, block 9, hold on, block
It's
6, block 9.
The third one in.
Yeah, because the corner would be a parking lot,
Yeah.
and that's a full lot, I think.
Okay, we own 415 and 433 Fifth Street.
But we don't know 415, that's the Payne Weber building that got sold in December. I I believe, because
It
that's,
was still unattachable, so I don't know how that's correct. So it's gotta be what? It's gotta be, it's not 337.
no, it has to be 400 block.
Well, the
No.
only one I'm showing,
No, this is the 300 block.
This is, okay, it has to be 300 block.
so the 337 Fifth Street?
I would think,
Maybe?
because all the odd are on this side.
And I don't have I did not write down the actual description. It doesn't say, it just says 337 Fifth, so whatever.
Well, it's, you know, when you're looking at vacant land, it looks tiny, and then when they put a building, they, you know, can be like a behemoth.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I don't know,
I don't know.
I
You
don't
have
think
to-
it's, I don't think it's the full 58 feet.
I think it's a half a lot, to be honest with you. I think the parking lot might be more of a full one, and then Buckles is like 25 feet, and the next lot might be 25 feet.
I don't,
Because
I don't,
Buckles
I
store
don't
is
have
not
that.
on a full
Yeah, I
lot.
don't have that here.
Well.
But I'm thinking mathematically, I think you're right. I think it's a full lot for the parking lot,
Mhm.
and then Buckos is a half
Half
lot,
lot,
and
half
then,
lot.
and then a half lot, and then, yeah.
So a half lot, like I would be, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna put a number out there except for you guys, like, okay, if he's willing to like accept, you know, like, okay, we were willing to sell it to you for say, like, cause we sold James 48 feet for $2,500, okay? If you've got 25 feet, I'd be willing to say $1,000, it's yours.
And-
I'm
okay,
more
so-
like 3,000 in my head, because it's,
Yeah, but that's too much for.
Even, okay, let's
And
back up.
then
If you sell a parcel for $8,000, then it's a 1 mil tax, you know,
Right.
so that's easy. You start splitting hairs and doing all the goofy stuff, it gets, but $1,000 wouldn't be absolutely ridiculous for that. To us, it puts it back in the tax rolls at the
Right.
minimum.
if he does all the repair. But
Well,
when he initially talked, I thought it was, we have to fix the
No,
wall.
if we sell,
So if we
Jim
were,
Kirsch says if he owns the land, he owns the land and his building, and whatever's in between is his, and we don't even have to talk about the land.
right, so that
So
then a
technically-
1,000 would be okay if he,
Yes.
if we were just
Yes,
done.
because then we get out of the loop.
Yeah.
That,
And then what that does, it puts it back on the tax rolls. And number two, then it's between the, you know, whatever ordinance he has to comply with and it's his insurance company for the repairs and getting up to going. So yes, I think that would be.
because then it would be, because I
Now,
never
didn't
even,
we authorize,
2,500 to even.
but are they working on it? Is it?
No, nobody's been called. See, we didn't even know about him being interested in a lot. It was like, okay, we can't determine who it is.
Yeah.
We'll go half and half of the 25, which would have been, you know, 1,250. But now he's showing interest in the land, and with snow.
Well, it's more than a complete vacant lot, so I think he's getting a heck of a deal because it's been updated. I mean, it is a park, so to speak.
Only because of volunteer.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
But
But I'm
I
just
don't
saying-
think, you know, knowing him, I don't think if you put an ice cream thing there,
It's
because
probably the back chunk of
he's
it.
gonna use the back part, and he's still gonna have a park like with a whatever. You know, that would be my guess.
Well, I wouldn't, whatever he wants to do, if he was the owner of record, then
Don't care whether
then
he's
we
got.
want it to
houses.
be successful if we
Yeah.
had
And we
a
never have to
little
talk
story
about
ice
it
cream
again.
parlor. Yeah.
No, I mean, theoretically, if I was a business owner, I think I would come in probably 20 feet, put a small building between the two,
Yeah.
and then have a space for parking in the back, or,
But his parking on the side is fine.
no, what I'm saying is
Yes,
for
I-
employees or somebody to park behind, so
Oh,
you've got a couple,
absolutely.
you know, a couple, 3 parking spots there, if nothing else, they're not taking up the lane when they get to their deliveries or whatever, so yeah, it would,
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go
I think
for 6
it's
months
potential.
out of it.
So we also recommend to sell the
Not
lot
talk about the wall anymore, it's just, you know, go into.
for 1,000 and be done with it.
And say, well, we're willing to sell a lot for $1,000 and then you just own everything and it's yours and whatever. Because that takes the wall off our plate. Because it would have cost more than $1,000 to have it surveyed. Because
Right.
they had to do the whole lot.
And if the village put 2,500, then we have to sell it for
Even
at
if-
least 3, you know,
Well-
to get our money back out of it. So let's just let it go.
Right.
Yeah. But
But I wasn't thinking that way. I was still thinking about the wall, but Jim says, no, you're not thinking about the wall anymore because it's all it is now.
no, if he basically, whoever purchases it, Buckos or anybody, that becomes their liability if you sell it as is, boom, done.
yeah,
Yeah.
No disclosure, just do it.
and
Yours.
then,
So let's recommend that, but we have to recommend also that at our meeting that this is what we recommend. And then we have to
have a motion.
follow, we have to, yes, but we have to follow through and have somebody go over and talk to him and get into negotiating with him and say, look, you know, you can do whatever you want with the wall or not do what you want. We're willing to sell this chunk of land to you for, everybody agrees $1,000, and then do a quick claim deed like we did with Jane, because that's Jim Church's forte, is real estate. He knows all about this stuff. You know, doing quick claim deeds. And then that way, Vulcan gets a chunk of land, you can do whatever he wants with it. Whatever he wants. But we can't let it go. Like, sometimes we'll have a meeting, there's never any follow-up. We have to denote somebody that's gonna go, or two people, you know, meet with Bucko and say, look, this is what we're proposing, you know? You know, if you're interested in this land, and you know, have some meetings of the mind. You know,
Well,
meeting of the mind.
If after the council meeting, and there's a motion to do that, then he can accept or decline, or come to our next street committee meeting, which will be the second
Well, I think-
Tuesday at 11:30,
But
or 12 o'clock.
I still think we should
12.
talk to him before we go to him and say, at the council meeting, decided we can have this for $1,000. I still think we should talk to him, don't you? I
Oh,
mean,
sure,
we can recommend that at the council meeting, and then have talks with him, and then if he's
You
good
can
with it.
say the recommendation of the committee to the council will be this.
Right, and the council can even
And,
recommend. that
and you
we
can
do
come to
that.
the council meeting.
Right.
If
Are
you'd
you-
like to discuss it.
You're on the buildings committee?
That's not a building. though.
Oh, it is
That's
public
land.
buildings, yeah.
Okay.
But see,
Is land public buildings?
See, that's a tough one. I don't think it's streets, I think it's buildings, but that's a whole nother.
but the Italian Hall Park isn't a building, but it is anything that the village owns, it's real estate.
Right.
I
So
think
it should
should
be
fall
that.
under public buildings.
Right.
And,
And it doesn't matter what it falls under.
but because
What time is it, by the way, 20 to 2?
that
I
party,
gotta go see if he's here, because we really need to call.
that party that, put in the rock garden, he needs time, and, I mean, that was a wonderful thing to do. Now, okay, so basically that's,
So basically, the village, it's been maintained by somebody else and it hasn't been our expense to take care of it then.
it doesn't sound like we
Oh,
spent any.
that's what I was saying, that was a
money.
good thing, because everybody's complaining,
But
it's like,
does the DDA think they own it?
They know
They do not.
They do. I'm on the DDA now, they know they're going on.
Okay,
Yeah, so the DDA.
So you
the
were gonna-
DDA owns, what, 3 properties in
They
town?
own 3 properties now.
Yeah.
and that's,
They own the slaughterhouse, they own the Curl building, and they own Skufka's building, that's it. That's all they own. They own nothing else.
but they're paying $20 every month for that light bill. and
Well, I
stuff.
addressed that, and I got shot down on that one, because I think a flashlight for how many people go in there is just as sufficient.
I think so too.
Bring a light bar in there, whatever you gotta do, there's plenty of.
We're
What do we
paying
got?
$21 every month for
Yeah.
lights for, in Skufka's, the building on the end of Fifth, so they can show it to prospective
And
buyers.
they don't show it that much, I mean, it's up to us what we want to do.
Hey,
Well, the only thing to that is if they clip the power and they turn it off, then the headache of it turning back on. But I think it's gonna outweigh I think the $20 we're paying for the service fee is probably more than what the. turn
well,
on
we've done it for a couple of years already,
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy, yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of
Yeah.
anybody keeping the power on after the fact.
No, we had a 1 o'clock meeting and we couldn't get in because everything was
In
locked.
here?
Yes, it was all locked up, so luckily, what's his name?
Art.
Art.
That was open when I left, and this one,
Nope, it was not.
this was locked too?
You
I
can
didn't
check
check
that.
that.
Yeah, cause that was unlocked when I left.
It was locked when we
It was
got
locked.
Yeah.
Also, we need Steve's number so we can call him and. have
Steve
him-
Kellum?
Kellum?
Do you have his phone number?
I have it here,
Yeah, we'll leave that.
But we're gonna phone him right now
Okay.
at our meeting if you can find it for us. And let's see,
Yeah, 'cause what time is it now, 20 to 2?
yeah, hopefully he'll be home.
Well, and if he's.
Well, I guess the big thing is if we can just ask him about, or actually Joe about the truck. But obviously we have, Steve has to go
Well,
one.
we can, you can ask him about truck when he comes back.
Yeah, the trucks and
then
the
we'll-
tires and,
Get
Right,
tires
and then
off.
we'll ask Steve, do you want the guys to bring it over there and get rid of this and clear up that parking lot? Is that one he's supposed to?
So is Steve,
send out?
do we know, is Steve working at all right now, or is he still?
No.
I said, because I seen him during the
He
break
called me,
movies.
because I had called him a while back, he called me and said that his doctor has told him that he's got to listen to his wife. So in other words, I don't care how good you feel, you better not do so.
I saw him just before I saw you yesterday, but
Yeah,
I
you
didn't have a chance to talk to him, I was talking to Mark.
Yeah, so you
and
can't.
He went through and grabbed whatever he needed.
All right, thanks.
Okay. And then
Question for
before
you.
you go,
Yeah, do you know, has Jim Flood made a payment on, bought the truck yet?
No.
Not yet, okay, that was a question we didn't know.
Yeah.
has he
No,
been
yeah.
notified?
Pardon?
Was he notified
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and he hasn't paid
He hasn't paid for it.
or
Okay.
picked them up?
No.
When is he gonna do that?
He said he was, I told him, he said it was gonna be a couple of weeks before he got it done.
And how long was that?
Just the end of last week.
okay.
End of last week. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, we were catching up on wondering what the status was, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third truck, was sold then.
We didn't know that.
Yeah. So he just came in and bought it, paid for it today. It's,
The guy over on High Street?
Jim Pearson?
Who?
Jim Pearson. It was
Jim, he's on, no, he's on Third Street.
Pearson?
Pearson.
Oh, Pearson, not Pierce.
No, not
Jim Pearson.
Pierce, I don't know his name is.
Because I know Jim Pierce.
Pierce, he's got a place on
And did he
Third.
get the minimum bid?
Hmm? Yeah, he paid for the, he paid 500.
Okay,
So we don't have to have that for the scrap,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Because that's what we would have got for
Right,
scrap.
right.
So maybe he's
Or
gonna do
less.
the same thing.
Well,
Well,
he
he
actually-
actually 400 for scrap or
Yeah.
500 minimum bid, so we paid the 500.
yeah, I say, right now, prices are down, probably less than that for scraps, we did.
Okay.
So when is he gonna take it out of there?
He already came and paid for it and went down and got the keys, so.
So we leave it
Okay,
down.
so
That one should be gone.
So all we got is those.
What
And
is
then
this swearing?
did Julio take the tires that
Yeah,
were
they're
just
all
left
gone.
over?
He
They're
took the
all gone.
leftover ones too?
All of them.
Okay,
Okay.
good. But that was our question, we figured, there's
Okay.
only a couple left, if he took them, we would, that's no
No,
big
he took
deal.
everything.
Good, good.
Mhm. Yeah, just
Yeah.
get them out of there.
Yeah.
Okay, all
I think that
right.
answers all those questions.
And let's see, do you have the book of the checks that were cut this month
For which,
for everything? Because at our council meeting, we're gonna get a list of the checks,
you talking about for the
like
general
we did for
fund?
the DVA. Yeah,
For the general fund check.
right.
You want, okay, sorry. This is a council meeting question or is this a streets question now?
Well, I was thinking as far as the streets as well, like what's going into the medical for the street now that if we're paying out of pocket. We need to look at that for the copay.
Okay,
How many checks have been cut this month?
Oh, I know what you're asking. This
For
is
the
more,
co-pay
this is more of a
for-
council thing. This is, okay,
But it's
it's not
for
even a
the,
co-pay, it's just something that the village, said they would do. They agreed with Corinne and with Steve that anything that medical coverage doesn't pay, the village would pay. And they've all can have that as well.
oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about? This doesn't even have.
can
a
you just
special
grab the
number.
book and so we can look it up? Because, it's street department right now, but if we can't have all these oral agreements, they don't
Okay, well.
exist in the state of Michigan.
Here's another
You know?
issue that's come up, okay, and this has to do with streets because Steve is street, okay? And it's gone to the finance, and I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but probably you are. Steve Kello is on the really good gold plan, okay? So then when they wanted to get medical coverage for Rob, we got the information from, or Sandy did from, that place, and she was showing it to me, and she says, what do you think would be fair, whatever, and stuff. So I'm looking at it, and I came to the realization, like, right away, that Steve Kello's wife is 67 years old. Now, what does that tell you? We have been paying almost $1,000 a month for the Top Dog insurance, where she is on Medicare. Everyone has to
Sandy
be
looked
on
into
Medicare.
that, didn't she?
But she's looking into it, but the guy that we get the insurance from has not gotten back to her. And we are spending all this money, and I don't even think what they've done to us is right, because everybody that turns 65, you are now on Medicare, and you have to pay for Part A and B, and if you want to get a supplement, you can. And I'm nothing against Steve and his wife.
Oh, yeah.
She was 65 2 years ago, I believe, April. So since 2 years ago, April, every single month we've been paying $954 for this Cadillac policy that's only going to pay for 20% of what Medicare doesn't cover. I have one of the best supplement plans out there, and I pay $168 a month because I have Medicare, okay? And the problem with this whole thing is, it should have been caught a long time ago because there was a letter that was sent to the village at the time saying this person is now on Medicare, okay? We've been spending 12 grand a year for nothing, okay? For absolutely nothing, but
Yeah,
in the big picture, is it Steve's wife's fault? Probably not, and she might not be eligible to get on like a supplement plan until October, I don't know. But month after month goes by where we're paying this extra $1,000, and it's terrible. It's terrible. Like, no one said to me when I went off my good insurance, well, now you're on Medicare and we feel sorry for you, so we'll pay your supplement. Nobody does that. You know, you're on your own kind of, you know?
Yeah.
And we really need to address that because we're bleeding money with those kind of mistakes. That's a biggie.
yeah.
I don't know who can finally do something about it. I know we're trying to be respectful to Steve, but still on the other side of the coin, what's right is right.
So do you have the book so we can look up what we've sent to different,
We're talking
Companies.
about the general?
yeah, we'll just go through that because that could really
Well,
weigh
I'm
on.
not even sure we want to mention, Sandy was going to talk to Steve about this, but, you know, to be respectful, but I don't even know if it's a Steve and his wife's issue. It's more like the office has to figure it out and then give her options. Like if she can't get on a supplement until October and we haven't paid attention for a year and a half, then we're probably going to have to suck it up until she
I thought
is
you could.
eligible. You can anytime, but you can at the time that you want Medicare. See, she's been on Medicare for 2.5 years.
Yeah, for only the annual
Yeah.
review.
This is when you talked about that?
Yeah, that'll just be a minute, and this.
So, I mean, that has to be addressed, it can't be
that,
ignored,
right?
We doing all this on hand still? So what is in that Sage thing that's part of the Sage? What bookkeeping is done on Sage?
Well, the bookkeeping is, again, it gets, all the bookkeeping, it gets done there, but Corinne has been doing a lot of this stuff, she's always done it that way.
Okay, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm
No,
asking, what do we do
I
on
know
Sage?
you're asking, but I just wanted to explain everything. And this is the way that Corinne was always doing it, and then Corinne would give information, give it to Rob would put it in the computer.
Okay, are you doing that now?
Huh?
Are you doing that now?
No, what we're doing is we're trying to get things, so that Corinne isn't doing this anymore, and that, because a lot of things that she's doing here, that we're in a double.
I know what you're saying, but my question is, they've been paid since January 1st for this expensive program. And we haven't used it at all since January 1st, is that what you're telling me? We haven't used any of it.
No, we have been.
What part of it are we using?
We're using the accounting side.
Could you show me what it looks like before I leave, because I'm interested to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's just a software program, but the thing is what it is then is that nobody has ever shown Corinne how to use it, so what we've got up and running, supposed to be here at 2:00 to put the software program on Corinne's computer. And the first thing we're gonna do is, we're gonna get with Beth
This
Sawmill
isn't a
Township in
breakdown
there
of the
and
checks.
show how to
Oh, God.
put the
How much
payroll in
money?
there.
So Rob did the
You know,
payroll
when
report?
your wife signs a check.
Corinne did
Where's
the
the
payroll,
log?
gave it to
Checks.
Rob. Rob typed it in
Because
into the
when I have
computer,
so
which is
many
double
things,
duties
Which
again.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It should just be on the computer.
Right, and that's what we're doing, is I'm trying to get this so that we're only doing one thing, we're
And
not
now after a major.
doing double the work,
surgery,
and should be
We're doing
able
more than double.
there's a lot to do, it just take time to get it all sorted
Well,
out.
this could avoid a lot of man hours, this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff, this is ridiculous when the other is available. And we're paying for it. It isn't like we don't have it. We have it. And we need to start using it as soon as possible because this could, this could get lost and then you got nothing. You know, it's not anywhere.
Do you know what that township association plan is? Right here, it says township participation plan, $1,481.
That's Sage. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Township participating
Yeah,
plan.
that's the property and liability insurance for the village.
It's insurance.
It's
Property-
insurance.
Property and liability.
But why are we paying
insurance.
to the township association?
Yeah, that's the program or whatever.
Michigan Township participation.
But it's through
So
Hunt.
Yeah, it's
through Hunt.
we're getting a reduced rate because we're. in-
Hunt was the insurance,
in
just like
Township.
Hunt was the insurance agent, that's the insurance program.
Okay. And then there's no list of the checks, who got what.
Like medical, like, okay, medical, when, is there a special page when
Dude,
there's
does she
medical payout? Or is it all just in there
Do you have
somewhere?
the checkbook then with the stubs?
For the,
There is no
for-
stubs.
you're talking about for the payroll?
No, for everything. When she writes a check.
I don't think there's any stubs on these checks, are there?
No, they have, she should have one part of the check.
Right, normally in the book, you have
Well, no, it's not in the book though.
No,
Payroll's not.
there's-
Payroll comes out on sheets. Payroll checks go on sheets.
no, I'm talking.
It's not
when
like
she-
you think,
When
because
she
that's
cuts
what-
a check.
It's not in the
No,
book.
it doesn't have a side stub like you're talking about. I know
It's not.
that.
Well, we don't know who got what check,
No, we don't. We don't know.
for what
anything.
amount.
No, we don't.
And
know
we can't
anything.
figure it out because it's not on here and we're not given that information. We need a list like the DDA, you know how they do the checks for us now? That's what we ask for the council for the next.
Every
meeting.
month, like an office report, like where did we spend our money?
You want to know what's going on with
Like,
Steve.
okay, check number
With
one,
everything.
$400 to whom? Check two, you know,
Every single month,
yeah.
you know, most people, you know, like if we had an office report that said we cut check 55 through 150, and you give us a list of what those checks were for, that would be nice.
Right. See, the thing is, once we get everything and,
Excuse me.
because we haven't been using the full capacity on the accounting software. You can enter in the check information in the accounting software and then print out the checks also, which hasn't been done.
But when you do this, it's just easy to write a second page and put the
Yeah, but-
little numbers on it.
Okay, what I'm saying is that
But if we're-
with that, once that is being done, then we can go into the accounting software and we can print out, say we want to print out all the checks and this is what everything's being charged to. And we can go into that and it'll print out the whole list of it.
I understand, but it seems like, you know,
It's-
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, it's now August, and we're not using it.
Okay, you gotta realize then that, you know, that Sudana didn't do that. Rob got us started, but he didn't share anything with Corinne, and so everything.
But you still can say we got it, and you can call somebody, you can look at a tutorial, you can go and meet with somebody.
Right, and we're
Because there's
doing.
many, many months that have gone by that we haven't used this thing, many, many months. Oh, many, many months. I mean, I'd just like to see if we're paying for something and get it going, because this, you know, we have no idea what's
I mean,
being
when it
spent
says
on
payroll is
anything.
9,000, we don't know,
We have no
like,
idea.
the police officer,
We don't know.
when does his, is it overtime?
Mhm.
You know, how much is
We know
straight,
nothing.
how much is overtime? Because in order, like our street department, when we're 10,000, Steve said he'd let us know, because we gotta keep, you know, within our budget for the department. And if we never see any checks that are written from the street department, how can we
We don't know.
stay on course?
Well, if we could just have like a monthly office report of our needs, it would be nice.
Yeah, so when you give your office report, if you pass out
Yeah,
the list of
something.
checks that were cut by either you or Corinne or whomever.
Because no village, no cities don't have that at their meetings, they all have that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we
don't
do get a
anything.
folder of bills, but they're all paid already.
Yeah,
And
that's,
then we don't know, you know, we have no
Nothing.
control over the money, how it's spent, because it's after the fact. Yeah.
it's not
Okay,
a good
so,
system.
did we have any other questions?
We need to call Steve.
Okay.
Ask him those questions.
And then that's
You guys-
basically
You got
it.
yours.
Theater, yeah, thanks.
You got yours also?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Peggy
I got.
she got a second copy of here on the.
The old,
You got a second copy of that?
old, okay.
You have all the other ones though, right?
Prior, there's an
This
article.
is the new one, right?
Okay.
Here, this is the new proposed, right? Well, this says, these both say proposed.
That's theater proposed, that's a dope.
Well, Peggy,
Oh, okay,
Peggy,
yeah.
okay, in the back, you were looking at deposits. Here's your check reconciliation. Here's where all your checks, if you want to look right here, there's your check number and the amount. And there's,
What's
so it's
the-
in here,
where's-
it's in the
where's
front
June?
part.
All right, find July of this year.
June, July, they're all right here. There's your check reconciliation, the others are the.
See, I mean,
How come it's in the back?
No, this
What's
is
in the
the
back?
checks, and
Yeah.
the back is the deposits.
Okay,
That was money coming in, this is money going
Okay,
out.
so-
It's all right here, you just have to look for it. in
But
which-
we would have to be shown it, that's
yeah,
what she
if we
said.
know where they are, that's
Well, I don't
good.
think I mean, we can look at that anytime, but that, they're all right
I
there.
didn't know it existed like this.
Yep,
Wait a minute, that Italian Hall Park, 683.
Now, what is that? Did we approve giving them money?
Italian Hall Park, that's not something that has to be done. We, at the last meeting, said only necessary bills. That was, then the
I don't know what
fireman,
that was for. The $683, green off the plan. That might have been money that came from, I think that might be the money that came from that GoFundMe.
but it was a check.
Right, because the money.
you have to, from one account to the other.
But are we supposed to keep that separate? That's not a village
It
thing?
doesn't go in the general fund.
Yeah.
No, if they deposit, if you look in the back, if there was a deposit for that amount, it goes into the general fund, then the general fund has to write a check to a different fund, you have to,
See, this doesn't help us at all here, because it says right here, it says, everybody's broken down what they got paid for July. But then when we get here, it says, Village of Calumet Fire Department, 460, and then it says, Village of Calumet payroll, and it's still the same as what's on our sheet. That doesn't help us at all.
Yeah, 8,500.
Yeah,
And
numbers.
that varies.
But
And what is this 1632?
that's money from the general fund
That's
set
a
over to the
deposit, it
payroll.
says. That's a
Yeah,
deposit, it says.
yeah, that one's a deposit.
But the other one,
From,
this is money that's sent over to payroll then, to pay the salaries then.
sent where?
You have to transfer
You have
from
to transfer
account A
money.
to account B. You have to send money from the general account over to the payroll fund.
So then it should be broken down who got paid what somewhere here, right?
I don't, everything goes in the general fund and is dispersed out of the general fund.
That's why we have a lot of them that are at really low, about 10,000 go in and 10,000 or 8,900 go out. It's broken down every month.
But it still doesn't say who gets paid what, it doesn't say that anywhere.
Well, let's see.
Charter office, amicable, blah, blah.
So there was
Then it
no,
says payroll payment,
no money for co-pay for medical.
and then it just says again, check number this, village and county payroll, it's all lumped together again.
Well, that's a reconciliation for the general account.
You wanna get Karina on the phone and ask her?
No, it's just that we're confused about everything.
This is-
Transfer to, I mean,
Hold on.
it says transfer to money market, I don't even know what we have in our money market, I know nothing.
It's in
See,
the
I
balance sheet.
don't think the Italian
That's-
Hall fund needs to go into our general.
The money thing, the money
I think
market is,
they should
as we
be kept
talked about
separate.
earlier, it's something that was just because we used to get interest rates. And I talked to Dave about it, and we're just gonna get rid of the money market, because it's, all it does is just, Green just transfers money back and forth, to keep as little money in the checking account as much in the money market to get
But you get
a
nothing
dollar,
under
to get a dollar of interest.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right.
You gotta buy the damn checks too, I mean, it makes no sense.
Well, there's no money market checks.
It's just you have to just physically go
You
on.
have to physically go
That's
online and
ridiculous.
make a transaction change, and which I know, and then move money back when you want to write a check then.
But see-
Makes no sense.
If,
So we're gonna get rid of all the money market.
if for the month of July, you start with check number, 400. And then you list each check cut in order, paid order for the month of July, and then you do that for each trustee every month.
I
And
mean,
then
you're
we
talking
can-
about for the ones that are already in there, you want somebody to type them out then, or?
No, but photocopy that
Okay,
sheet,
yeah.
but there is
But it
no
still
breakdown
doesn't
for
tell
the,
us, like, you got like if you paid an extra medical thing that wasn't covered by medical, I don't know how you tell.
why is
Who
there
gets
no,
paid, like Kareem gets paid this much, you get paid this much, Anderson is in there as getting paid this much. Why is your office not like that? Anderson's name is actually on there, as what he got paid. Why is your name not there? Why is Kareem's name not there? Why isn't the janitor's name on there? It makes no
Right
sense.
there, Joe Snow. They're all checks, every check that's
What month is that?
July 24th.
it doesn't go with, like, I don't mention patio or everything.
Oh, no, that was.
No, that's different, yeah, that's a
that was to,
reimbursement of some kind.
Recorders.
Yeah, basically,
That was the-
okay, so what's not in here is the payroll reconciliation by
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, there's nothing on that. It's just all lumped into VSC.
And the medical.
And
Oh,
Oh, wait a
okay.
second, here's all the fire guys.
Yeah, but it still says VFC again.
No,
Doesn't say.
all we want is something simple. The check number you start with for each month and the one you end up with and each amount.
Where the check went, where the
Yeah.
check went, that's, yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's it. So can you do that for our regular August meeting?
Yeah, we
So-
need that for July. 'cause
Yeah.
we want that-
Everything is here with the exception of the obviously individual payroll.
Yeah, the individual payroll's not on there.
And medical
Yeah,
over pocket,
medical
because
out of pocket.
that never showed up.
So
That
if
was
we-
lumped under insurance somehow.
So if we had every single check, we know where we were spending money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we need to call
It looks,
Steve.
it looks good to
Okay.
me, Joe, it's a check reconciliation and the deposit is in the back, it's
just-
one check for payroll instead of 20,
So
so.
we're paying for something we're not using, that's ridiculous.
Right, but if one particular department in payroll is going way over, we have no red flags when we get lump amount. Okay,
All right.
so our
Let's
last
call Steve.
order of business is to call Steve.
Yes, let's do that, so we
Do you, do you have a phone?
Right, can we use your phone, Jim?
I can't put mine on speaker, can you? Do yours?
Here's the phone number.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on, I actually don't know how to say that, I gotta speak.
I don't see the link taken out, maybe it's the county for the storm.
Huh. It's supposed to be in the 60s tomorrow.
I-64 or something like that.
Easy. So that surgery, is it gonna be up here?
The one for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why she's coming.
Oh, boy.
This is the number at home.
This is his only phone number he has, is this one.
Well, I have a mobile one, that's why I was wondering.
This is a mobile one, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
I have a different number for him.
Do you, like, what is it, is it 289?
It's a 337 number, and that's, I wonder if that's just the
That's the
garage.
garage, and it's 17 something.
1720, yeah,
That's the
yep, yep,
garage.
yep.
Yeah.
Because he lives in Eagle Harbor.
So do we also want to make a recommendation that if the street superintendent doesn't attend our meetings, that a representative from
Yeah, they
the
should
street
be,
department?
right.
Because we do have questions.
Right, and we need to know what's going on, that's the whole purpose.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to ask Steve about what?
Our third recommendation is to have a rep at meeting from the.
Well, there's another issue that's come up, okay, before you press the send button. I was over helping Sandy over at the park,
Oh, okay.
and she wanted the desk out of there, she was helping out, clean it up, whatever. Make a long story short, she said there's only one guy over there. I said, hey, I just saw two in the truck, so I said, want me to go get them? Went over there, they're sitting over there, so I said, can you come over and help? Sure, they came over. And it was discovered that Sandy wanted the desk taken, the one Steve wants. Well, the one part-timer that's there every single day can't lift more than 10 pounds, so he can't really do anything. Now,
Just want to call him, just say,
does he need a doctor's slip? I mean, what is he doing if he can't lift more than 10 pounds? Like, nothing personal to this guy, but this is a liability if he can't work.
Well,
I wonder if he knows this issue.
I think our contracts that we have with people are really negligent.
We don't have a contract with them, do
Like, if you look at the police contract, he has no duties outlined in his contract.
we? You can't, I don't know if you could outline duties of that besides,
Well, what kind of contract is it when you don't have to do anything and you get this, and this for that amount of pay? It's really not a good
well, police
contract
work.
at all.
Yeah, but police work involves all police work. You know, I mean, it's,
Well, you can't, but if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. We needed.
does it
to
say,
put
well,
it in-
without looking at the contract,
in
it say
writing.
that he's the acting police chief, there's some things you just have to do. to
Yeah,
make
there's-
that job work.
because we had contracts that.
But if
were-
ever there's a question, we're not being
Yeah.
careful.
I don't know, I think. on that
When you
one is-
have, when you don't have any duties be spelled out for any employee. For instance, if you look at the street department, we should have a minimum you can lift up to so many pounds.
Should
And
be
you
at least
need
50
to,
pounds.
need to do this, this, and this. And if you cannot meet the bare minimum qualifications, then you should.
See, a lot of that stuff's spelled out in an employee handbook, which I don't think the
Well,
village has any, and that's a whole nother.
Here's the
subject.
other common question I have before you press the button, okay? With Steve gone, Rob is over there by himself, okay? They're kind of riding around in the red truck, I don't know what they're doing over there, I guess that's my business, but I don't know what they're doing. Now, can Rob just be there alone, or does he have to have a second person, and is that why the guy that can't lift more than 10 pounds is worth paying for? I don't know the answers to these things. But I can't imagine for liability, if he gets lifts 12 pounds and hurts his back, or whatever his problem is, and I don't know what his problem is, does he have workman's comp forever then? I mean, it's a big liability for us.
You want to ask him?
Well, call him and see if he's there. We'll let Peggy talk first and I'll ask him.
Turn it down.
How do you put it on speaker?
Hit speaker.
Oh,
Look at
that,
that. Yeah, we got a fancy phone.
oh, nice. Yeah, he could be in therapy.
Oh, Steve.
Steve,
Yes.
Stevie Wonder, this is Peggy. We're in a committee meeting and the three of us dialed you up and you are on speakerphone.
Okay, great.
So we had
How
we just had a couple of questions and hope that you'd be able to answer them from your home, and yay, you answered the phone, so great. Okay.
I missed a message from Sandy a little while ago about it.
Oh,
Are you doing good?
Yeah, well, exercising more, therapy.
Okay, great.
and listening to your wife?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Great. Let's see, when we last met, you were gonna order street signs or get a quote, and we authorized up to 2,500. Do you know if the street signs were ever ordered, or is that pending?
No. No, because we were gonna decide on what the township, we were gonna decide on if we were gonna just do the residential district for now, because the downtown's on. Maybe there'd be an error if they wanted to go with a different way of doing their sign. So it's kind of hold off until we decided we'll do the residential district with what we had planned. And then if the downtown wants to go different, then that's all involving, because it was gonna be a lot more per sign than what I was given quotes on.
So the DDA could get involved with that if they want to spend more money. So you're recommending we just do residential right now?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would be less probably than what I had anticipated, because I'd only be doing, probably half of the sign.
And what was the price before?
Well, we authorized 2,500, including the hardware.
So it's not going to be that much?
Well, with some of the hard work, it shouldn't be that much now, no. It should be under $2,000 at least, 1,500.
So do you feel comfortable, since we already approved it, like when you get better, just to order the darn things and we'll,
Yeah,
we'll just call it a done deal?
I don't think we even have to bring it up
We
again.
don't have to bring it up because we've already been approved.
Okay,
it.
that's good, that takes care of that. Then there was a sign for that little pavilion that we just had to change the hours.
yeah, if you want to decide on what kind of hours you want to put, that should actually be redone, and then we can put hours on it. We've got the old one in the shop, but it looks like it's professionally painted, and I don't know if I can do this for the work and what's on there, so.
It will be good enough.
Once we can change the hours, once they decide what kind of hours they want to open and close, because now it's kind of whatever
did.
Well, Steve, I have a suggestion for you. I work up at the Sweet Town Ski Club, and we have a sign, a big wooden sign, and it's on 2 hooks, okay? And when you get there, and the chalet is open, you put chalet open, facing outside. And then when we close up, the bottom is left open where the bathrooms are, and we turn the sign around as you leave, and it says restrooms open. Why do we even have to have a time? We could just have Al put the sign up when he gets there and take it down when it's closed. Would that work?
Right.
And then nobody would steal with it, monkey with it. This sign is probably 2 feet long, and it's probably 8 inches high, and it's just got 2 hooks, and then it's got a closed eye hook, 2 of them, and then we just hang it, and it's real easy to do. Would that work, something like that?
Well, yeah, nobody takes it off, that's the problem. If we have something that we can stay in and walk, and everything gets messed with up there, that's the problem, when there's nobody there,
Well, could we just not put any time on it? Do we have to put a time on it?
No, it's right up to you guys as far as what you want to do.
You said the sign's at the garage? Can we go look at it?
Yeah, the sign's in the garage, Rob's got it.
Okay.
You could take a look at it and, see what you think. You could also have one of those that you just slide, and one way it says open, the other way it says closed, and then you have to lock it sometimes, because we've had problems with, people damaging or stealing stuff if it's not bolted down up there, that's the only problem.
Okay.
I have another question about that place. I was in there with Sandy when she was helping out clean, and I brought some totes there. I noticed that the fuse box is open to anybody that wants to monkey with it. Is there something better we can do with that?
We could try to put a lock on there, but as in the past, that's broken off. I don't know if they make stronger, base plates for those. We used to have to make our own in the 63 bay outside, because a lot of our lights for a baseball field were all outside. And the safety boxes that they had were similar to ours. We make our steel, and then enclose them in steel, quartered steel with locks on,
Could we just put a cover on it with 2 screws, and then when you need to get in there, you just take the screws out and take the cover over? It seems like somebody could really do some damage to that thing.
Oh, sure, and then, but if you put screws in there, somebody in there with a pocket knife can get those screws out, I guarantee it. It's pretty clever, or they'll pry it open like the thing that was about 6 times, I've been through.
So what do you think we should do? Because you can just open it right up. It was halfway open when I was there. It was like,
What we need to do, put a lock on it to keep honest people honest. But, the thing that my problem is, I don't know how many keys are up there now that have keys to that building. And I would recommend changing the locks, and then keys can be assigned out, okay? Then start watching it, because most of the damage is done when the building is open. And you don't have people there. So if the building's open and it's damaged, then who's ever taken that key, or whoever has that key is responsible for the damage, then we can start putting a price tag on some of the damage for some of our labor costs.
yeah, that stood out like a sore thumb when I went in there. I thought, boy, this is like
Where is that?
Well, it's in the little
First
hallway. No, it's in the little hallway right before the bathrooms. It's right there. The room that you can go in that's locked. It's just there. The day I was there, it wasn't pushed all the way in. It was open just a little bit.
The other thing we can do is get a cost from an electrician and have it move it to see if we can move it into that cabinet where the furnace is.
That'd be a good idea.
I think that'd be the best. Lock up the furnace and anything that is.
Because somebody's gonna mess with that, and it's just gonna cost us a lot of money. I mean, it's just right there to be had.
Okay.
I think if you pull out one of those panels, you've got the 220 right there,
Yeah, somebody can get killed.
Put a
Yeah.
You could be in some hurt.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so,
I can call one of the electricians, or have Rob call one of the electricians and go up there and get a quote.
That would be good.
And get some ideas on what it'll cost to change that. If it's cold possible, that's the only problem. I'm not sure if there's a cold in there, but they should have never put it there.
No.
We moved it into the other area.
Oh,
On the wall, but that would take more work, so.
okay.
Whatever's cheapest, we'll go.
Okay.
so you'll just look into that matter when you're able, hey?
Okay, all right.
And let's see, then while you're still,
Calls, and I can set some calls up, and then nothing else, Rob can meet the guy out there to lock it, so what I want him to do, I gotta be up there Thursday for therapy again. 8 o'clock, so I'll stop in and talk to Rob, I wanna know what's going on.
Okay, I have one question and a concern. The same day I was up there, because I donated some totes because they were putting the Christmas lights away, they were trying to clean the place up. When I brought the thing, Sandy and Al were there, okay? And you want that big desk for the village garage, right?
Well, it's a better shape than mine.
Yeah, okay, so I said to Sandy, she said, I wish I could get this out of here and, get some help here. And I said, well, I just saw the 2 guys, the village guys, in the red truck. Do you want me to go over there and see if they can come and help? And she said, oh, okay, that would be good. So I went over to the village garage and Bob and Peterson were sitting there. And I said, do you think you could come over and give Sandy and Al a hand over at the pavilion? And they said, oh, sure. So they came over and I went home and got more toast because they needed more. And when they got there, Sandy said to them, well, Steve would like this desk, and you got the truck right there, can we get it in the truck and get it out of here? And this Peterson says, I can't lift more than 10 pounds, so I can't do anything like that. Are you aware of that?
Well, he just got back from some type of whether it was bypass or some type of heart surgery, and with our time, I wasn't, we weren't really expecting duty notices for return to work. We never really had much of a policy on part-time people.
Okay.
So I didn't know, and I didn't know that he was limited to work.
Well, because I said to him then, I said, should you be working if you can't lift more than 10 pounds? And he turned to me and said, well, if you want me to go home, I'll just go home. I don't need to be here. And I said, I don't make that decision. I just want you to be aware of it because, he could be on workman's comp, he could be in a whole world of hurt if his doctor says no more than 10 pounds because that garage is going to require more than 10 pounds.
Well, that's...
I mean, I just want you to be aware of it, because I was sort of dumbfounded with that. Also, does Rob have to have somebody there with him when he's there? Is that another reason he's there? You have to have 2 people in the garage?
Well, they always wanted me to do it in the past, when I worked there, when I was working on equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a safety issue, that we either need to set a policy.
Mm-hmm.
Most places don't like anybody in the shop working alone.
Well, and I agree.
I do too.
But, yeah, it doesn't hurt, and then if there's any issues, then you've got 2 people there.
Right. But my concern was, you've got a part-timer who I have no problem with, believe me, but he's not supposed to be lifting more than 10 pounds. Now, is that a big liability for the village, and is it gonna put a world of hurt into him if he does the wrong thing? I mean, should he have a doctor's slip for something like that?
If it's 10 pounds.
That's not much.
A doctor's slip, or he should have warned Rob, and Rob should have called me, or he should have told somebody else, and said, well, we need a full return to work, or give him my like uniform,
Well, it's just that I worry about liability for the village, and I worry about him hurting himself. That's why I thought you should know that, and Rob was aware of it, when they came, but somebody should You know, I mean, he should really have his doctor say, look, you should be doing, I mean, how do we even know that he can't put his hands above his head? If you just had some kind of heart surgery or
I'm
stent.
not sure what it was. I need to investigate a little bit more, because I'm not sure what exactly he had.
Right, all I know is he said his doctor says he can't lift more than 10 pounds. That's the extent of my knowledge of this, which was sort of shocking to me.
Yeah, I've never, well, I've been there, but not anymore, but, I still have so many limitations that, but I'll find out, but I gotta be up there Thursday, Friday was conservative, so hopefully I'll maybe he'll give me more of a card to, come in, you know, and, stuff, so hopefully I'll know more, and I'll check it out then.
Aren't you gonna give us a doctor's slip when you return to work?
Yeah, of course. Well, let me ask you this, when you hire part-time people, there's no checking into anything, no doctor slip, no drug test, no nothing, they just work?
Yeah, unless they have a medical card with their CDL, and some do and some don't, then all I can ask and see, with this medical, with this HIPAA, you gotta be careful on what you ask people. Because right away, they'll get you for discrimination, and with health, you can't ask that stuff unless they're doing commission.
Well, you can't ask them about their medical condition, but if somebody, has, comes back and has limitations, they have to have something from a doctor, because you knew that, that if he has limitations, you need to know about limitations, not about his health history. That's where the HIPAA comes in.
Well, don't we just have to say, if you work in the street department, you have to be able to do the following tasks? And then you sign that you're able, and if you're not able, then it's on the employee?
Then it goes down to, what my experience was in the bigger cities. This becomes an HR issue that evaluates it, who has a doctor evaluates it as well. He's allowed to do 60% of the job. There's like 55% is the cutoff line by saying, well, if he's on permanent limitations, if he can't do 55% of the job, then either have to find him another job, but if you can't find him another job, then there's possibilities of termination because of the job.
Well, most places, Steve, though, if you're under a doctor's care and you're out of work for a period of time and you're gonna come back to work, you have to have a doctor's slip saying you're eligible to work. Period. I mean, you don't have to clarify anything, you just have to say you are eligible to work. Now, some places, like where I used to work, there was no such thing as light duty. You either could come back to work or you couldn't come back to work. Depends on what the job requires. Now, a job like working in a garage may require that you can either work or you can't work. Is there anything light at that garage? Because what is light? 10 pounds is not much, that's a gallon of milk plus a pound.
Creams up in a bag?
Yeah.
But a good part would be, there again, there could be a second person, but power washing equipment, you're only going to want with water, and all you're doing is spraying off grease. Now, that's something they could probably do, I would think.
I don't know, I just wanted you to be aware of it because it was shocking to me that he was working and riding around with Rob, but he can't do anything, and I'm thinking, wow.
I'm not sure how much work and how much right, what the percentages were there. I don't like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either.
That's what we need to do. We need to look at our application form, see how long, the application I had, when I filled my second one out this last time, asked me about the use of typewriter, okay? We need to look at these apps and make sure we're covering ourselves, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then we have to state to the employee, if he has limitations, I think that we can allow if he has those limitations.
You could just say, do you have any physical limitations? You don't have to ask them about their medical, you could just say, do you have any physical limitations? And, because a lot of applications, you'll say, you have to be able to lift 50 pounds, okay? And they don't even talk about medical.
Right.
Right, just say when you're ready to return, get your doctor's, yeah, we'll have to look into that one.
We just want to be safe and liability free, that's all. We just want the best for him and for the village, that's all I'm asking.
And then, so far in our meeting, we're gonna recommend Al Ayok, it's, 500 for helping improve our town, opening that building every day and, cleaning it.
That would be great.
And then number two, we sell that lot to Buckle for 1,000, and he does any repair on the wall that he would be the sole owner of after the
Yeah.
Well, see,
sale.
well, Steve,
Physical help.
Well, Steve, I talked to Jim Tersha, about that wall issue, and Buckle probably wanting to buy the lot, and he said, once you sell the lot to him, the wall is not the village's issue anymore, because he owns the lot, he owns 2 pieces of land and a building, and the wall is included, so that's just off the table. So,
Right.
that makes perfect sense that we don't have to get involved with half and half or this or that, if we could just say, hey, we'll give you a good deal on the land, and then it would be, it would be off of our plate, pretty much.
And then our third recommendation is that either the street superintendent or a representative attend our meetings in case we have questions,
I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah, once a month, and then, now that we're speaking with you, basically, we'll have to figure out the restroom sign, the streets, you're gonna order from the residential area, and then look into, securing the electrical panel, either through a safety box or moving the location. And, let's see, was there anything else?
And just check on Peterson's status.
Oh, yeah,
Peterson says, and also on the sign.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Oh, you mean Charlie?
yeah, just check, make sure everything's okay with him, because he could be out of the woods as far as we know. I mean, the doctor could say you're ready to go, I don't know. Also, Steve, we're gonna have, we decided that we're gonna have our, street department meetings the second Tuesday at noon. So, if you're still laid up and not back to work, could you let Rob know that, we'd like him here at noon on the second Tuesday, unless he's got some other thing that he has.
And this
to
is
do.
our August meeting, so it wouldn't happen till September.
So maybe you'll be back in
Yeah.
September.
Yeah.
We're hoping. Well, I am too, so you better just listen to your wife, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm hoping to get back to work.
Yeah,
Okay, and let's see. Oh,
Mine at the shelter.
yeah, I mean, just something. Yeah, getting back to Almo, do you think, see, we're trying to avoid like recommending him as being an employee because he is a volunteer. And, if we gave him like a $500 stipend at the end, one-time payment at the end for, thank you for volunteering and this is from the village, that would, and if we keep it under 600, then you don't get involved with those tax things. And that way he would have, a chunk of spending money because he really has volunteered. We're just saying thank you. Because we don't really want him on payroll.
No, that would be fine. I think that would be better that way, because then it's technically, it's not gonna affect him, it's not gonna affect us.
Right.
yeah,
I don't see any problem with that. I think that would be great.
and then the last thing, that Jim Pearson bought the third truck, but Jim Flood hasn't paid or removed the 2 that he purchased, so do you think you can try and get him to do something before Labor Day?
Yeah, he hasn't moved them. I'll have to get a hold of him, or I'll send Keith over there to talk to him, and just say, hey,
Well,
you signed that, and it was dated, there's a rule there.
what was the rule underneath the bid?
The 27th.
The 27th of July?
Was that our ad we're talking about?
Yeah, because we asked Joe Snow, and Joe Snow said he just talked to him the end of last week, so today is Monday, so we just talked to him the end of last week, which is almost 2 weeks after our meeting. And he said that he needs a couple more weeks to pay for it and get him out of there. So that's what Joe Snow said. Is that good with you, or is that not good because he signed that piece of paper?
all bids must be submitted. It doesn't say, and they'll be announced, but there's a,
No, you need to look at the form that they filled out.
And sometimes if Corinne's got a copy on her file, it may say when the bids are awarded, they have to be out of there at such date. I thought we put it the 27th.
I think you're right.
do you want me to ask you?
Yeah, go and have Joe bring us a copy.
Okay.
I think you're right. Now, the problem with that is, you know, 2 weeks could become a month, could become a whatever. You know, if you're gonna bid on something, you know, in good faith, just drive him out of there. You know, give us a check, drive him out of there, bring him where you need to do it, because he is in town.
We don't need them parked there.
No, we don't need him parked there at all. So,
Yeah, either Joe can call them and say, hey, you know, you signed the bid, and yeah, I would like you to come.
well, according to Joe Snow, he said he just talked to him the end of last week.
Sign.
The end of last week was the 28th, okay, so he talked to him after he was supposed to remove them, so maybe he didn't talk to him on a timely basis. I don't know. We'll have to,
Get them out of there, pay for them, get them out of there, because that would be, you know, that would be a warrant of.
Right.
You know, if we would have known this was gonna happen, may have awarded it to somebody else.
Well, exactly, I mean, how do you know he's even, you know, he might just say, well, if you don't give me 2 weeks, I don't want him. You know, or you don't give me till next spring, I don't want him, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah. Because,
Maybe you should talk to Joe Snow, because if he just talked to him the end of last week, that was after the date of when he was supposed to have him out of there. So, you know, that's a problem too.
yeah, and if Joe tell him what it's okay, he should have never told him that.
Okay, well, let's,
Because, hey,
I'm bringing the phone to where they are, if you don't mind. I'm walking with the phone, because you are the information guy. We're walking away from the camera, but that's okay.
Wow.
Steve's on the phone. When did you call Flood to let him know that he was a good bidder? What day did you call Jim Flood?
Right down,
The end of last week? Okay, was it the end of last week? Because according to him, the 27th was the last day you needed to pay and pick him up. You can talk to Steve about that.
He's looking up.
Well, turn on the form.
Let's see, is it on? He's looking up the board right now.
Okay, Steve's on the phone, so if you have any questions. Because that's what the form said, too.
Where's our board?
He came in and said that the student, it'll be a couple of weeks, and I said, okay. They came a couple of weeks. You there, Steve?
The 27th.
Next steps here, that, see, all that's all it is, all it, they're not road legal, no warranty or return, also have to file village sold with the right to reject any awarded bids must remove units by July 22nd, it must be in by 11 a.m. on the 12th, and when we bid is announced on the 18th.
But by the second,
was a long time ago.
22nd.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and he didn't come until last week, which is, Friday is the 28th already.
But what if he wasn't
Yeah,
notified?
I called him and emailed him when he came in. I called him as soon as when it was, decided or not.
Well, just a nice phone call, you could just say, I was looking at the form and it says they should have been picked up on the 22nd, can you come in and pay?
And get him out of
You
there.
know,
Because this week, when do we have our village meeting?
the 18th.
The 18th?
That's why we
Okay.
opened
Yeah, and then
it.
the 27th, you know, he should have been called right away, and then you got till the 22nd, unless you got something.
Yeah.
But he didn't wait, he waited till like 27th, 28th.
He was out of town also.
I just saw him.
He was out of town.
When
He's
he-
not out of town now.
He has a phone number.
I know, I called it, and I sent him an email also.
Can you call him now?
Yes, I would like him out of there, so we're getting that.
Yeah. Okay, as soon as you
And
can.
this is a contract, this is,
Can you call him while we're in our meeting? And Yeah, just say we're,
I'm not sure why he said he needed to.
just say the committee was looking at.
Any more for you, Steve? Because, you know, it says the 22nd, actually.
Try.
I mean, that's a long time ago.
But if Joe gives him an extension, then that comes under Joe, saying that, it's okay, but now Joe is administrator, Joe just giving him an extension.
But he didn't know about it. Okay, but here's the problem with that. He didn't know, because when we asked him to get the piece of paper, he didn't know that there was a date for pickup, so he must not have looked at it. So that's where the problem runs into.
That's why you gotta be separate departments all the way through the street. You notify them and then the pickup and everything's straightforward. We'll get it together. I don't think we have anything else for you. We just want you to feel great and be happy and come back to work and, because we miss you.
Yeah, you gotta get your butt back here.
It's nice to feel needed, you know?
Well, you're needed, I'm telling you. You know, anytime you speak, I listen because you're a wealth of information.
Well, thank you. I'm glad. I'm not always right. My opinion is, my opinion is,
No, you have expertise. I do not. I listen to you. That's why you need to listen to your wife because she has expertise into getting you better.
Yeah,
Is that a deal? Okay.
or even though she said I'm not paying attention to her.
All right, we're gonna check on that. That's part of your rehab, is we're gonna be checking on you, make sure you're paying attention.
Joe is,
No, you are missed, I gotta tell you.
When you get 7 minutes done, just put in my folder so it'll remind me because I have nothing here, okay?
okay.
Thanks.
We'll cut you some slack.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
all right.
Yeah.
Bye,
Say hello
bye.
to your bride. Thanks.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye.
Okay, and Joe is
You
calling
like the fish? I'll send us in.
Jim Flood right now.
Well, it said the 22nd, and he has every right to give an extension, but he didn't know that it was the 22nd, and 22nd was way long before last week.
But that's why the street department should not be going through the administrative office.
No, it
It
should be.
should be entirely,
Right, Steve should, yeah.
I mean, because now Steve's got to live with a decision that they made in the office that he wasn't aware of. So we
Well,
gotta,
with Steve off and Jim gone, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
But
Yeah.
still, the contract said the 22nd.
I mean, that is what he
I
signed.
mean, he could have,
He should have kept a copy of it for
he could
his own
even
records.
today, he could even today come and get the keys. If you can't pay for it for 2 weeks, give us a check, post dated for 2 weeks, take the trucks where they need to go, boom, done. Okay, if that's the issue. I'm not sure what the issue is.
Okay, now, if I'm gonna check the new schedule, just through December, do we want it? Or do we want it for the whole?
just through December now,
Yeah,
Peggy.
because the committees could change.
Yeah. Yeah, just do through December.
Well, they don't change until the statutory meeting in March.
Okay,
So I could do January, February?
Sure.
Okay,
Whatever you
I'll
want.
do that, and how about I just give them to you at the meeting?
Yeah, and then just change it on the bulletin board with your initials until you get the new one up there. Just so people would,
Yeah, I'll be doing that. Okay, is there anything else?
I think you've done a fine job, and I think you've clarified a lot of things, and.
Okay,
Yeah,
then,
that's yours.
is there a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Okay, at 2:40, Jim, Camp, and, okay,